Hello and welcome to Vidigya. So let's start with the analysis of the Indian Express newspaper dated 25th of January. So the first news which we'll be discussing is Air India set to be on handed to Tata Group on January 27th. So this deal, which had happened between the Air India and Tata Group, wherein Tata Group had purchased Air India by a whooping amount of rupees 18,000 crore, wherein 50% of that amount, that is 2,700 crore, has to be paid in cash, and the remaining 15,300 crore has to be paid to the loans or the payments which are pending to be paid on the part of Air India. So this was basically the gist what I told you about this particular deal, and this recent bidding which has happened in the month of October regarding sale is not the first time that Air India has got into disinvestment. Earlier also there are two instances wherein Air India has gone for disinvestment, but none of the parties or none of the corporate entities or any other private entities has shown interest in purchase. But now, under this Modi government, wherein they are working towards those sick units which are not profitable, which are incurring into a lot of losses. So that's why they are putting them under in a situation so that either to go for disinvestment or to merge them into different entities. So this particular committee has been headed by Shri Amit Shah, our Honorable Union Home Affairs Minister himself, to tackle this disinvestment process. And finally, this process has got finalized, wherein there were two bidders. One was SpiceJet, and the second one is Air India, that is Tata. And Tata, with the amount of 18,000 crore, has now become the owner of Air India. So what this news says is that the whole documentation, which was earlier proposed that it will be ended by the last week of December or the last month of December, but though due to procedural delays, it took a bit longer. So on Monday, that is yesterday, on 24th of January, the Air India has finalized all the balance sheets which were updated till 20th of January, and has been submitted to Tata, and the Tata Group will analyze the whole documents and the whole balance sheets, and will finalize, and it's probable and most probably that on 27th of January, Air India will be officially handed over to the Tata Group uh, as a separate owned entity, or a 100% owned entity which is being owned by Tata itself. So this is important from our examination point of view, this Air India disinvestment. Okay, let's move forward. As the Republic Day celebration is coming, so that's why security check. Politics. Okay, so this is important. Though we have not seen any passages with respect to GA section with respect to state news, but still these news are important basically with respect to border disputes between, especially northeastern region like Assam Mizoram border dispute, or Assam Meghalaya border dispute, or Assam Nagaland border dispute, or even Arunachal Pradesh per se, because all these states earlier they belonging to Assam itself, but then they got disintegrated and then became separate states. But still, the boundaries between these states are not properly demarcated. So that's why there is always a tussle been going on between these neighboring states with respect to exact territorial boundaries. So with respect to the same, what this news says is Assam CM Himanta meets Rio. Rio is basically is talking about Mr. Nephew Rio, the Chief Minister of Nagaland, and Pema Khandu, who is the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, over border dispute. So a meeting has been held in Guwahati, in the capital city of Assam, wherein Himant Biswa Sarma, the Chief Minister of Assam, had met the CM of both these states, Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh, and discussed the issues with respect to borders. And it is hopeful that the issues which are already pending, long awaited, both the chief ministers through a tweet had reiterated this thing, that the talks happened on a good note, and we are likely that these long pending issues which are pending for so many long years are now on the verge of getting into a favorable position, and eventually, if God permits, we will eventually be in a position to solve this boundary dispute between these states. Then KCR, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, he's basically the Chief Minister of Telangana state, opposes move to amend IAS rules, dangerous against federalism. So this is ever since the government has proposed amendments to these new IAS cadre rules, IAS service cadre rules. Uh, it has seen widespread outrage from majority of the opposition states, especially we have seen the opposition from West Bengal government, then Tamil Nadu government, Kerala government, and even few of the BJP ruled states like Madhya Pradesh and Meghalaya have also opposed this particular move of the government. And now the Telangana CM had also reiterated this thing and said this that these new amendments, which are being brought down by the union government, are detrimental and are not good with respect to the federalism, and they are against federalism of our country, and the existing rules and laws which are there with respect to the amendments the profiling of IAS officers is right and should be followed, should be continued. And otherwise, if these new amendments are brought in, then there may be a possibility that it would create a problem, and it would be dangerous, and this move would be against federalism. Then 89% of 280 samples sequenced from Mumbai had Omicron variant. So this basically, in order to detect any variant, we need to send samples through genome for genome sequencing. Then we are able to detect whether this particular variant belongs to this is an alpha variant, or a delta variant, or a beta variant, or an Omicron variant. So it's been nearly 2 months that we are seeing cases with respect to, or we have detected a new variant Omicron on 24th of November. On 24th of November last year, we have seen the first Omicron patient which has got detected in South Africa, and then now more than 170 countries in the world have seen cases relating to this Omicron variant. And even India is also hard hit by this new variant, though this has already been said by WHO as a variant of concern, and the number of cases are also increasing on a daily basis, but still the positivity rate is comparatively high in this particular variant, but still the number of hospitalization is not that much. So that's why we need to not worry that much, but still we need to follow basic COVID appropriate behavior for sure. So as per this news, 280 samples which has been sent for genome sequencing, out of those 89% uh, have been belonging to, or were from those who belongs to this Omicron variant, or this new variant. So the biggest reason is this variant is highly transmissible. It's getting difficult to track uh, that from whom this particular mutation or chain has started. Earlier, at the time when we had detected this alpha and delta variant, we were detecting the source, that from which, or the origin of the or the person from which the infection has spread. But now this particular variant has become asymptomatic, and even a lot of people are getting infected, even they are not aware that they are getting infected by Omicron, because of change in weather and other circumstances which we are seeing in our country, right? So the situation is in Mumbai is uh, is alarming, and because Omicron variant is already there, and now what government is doing, that more those people who are not vaccinated, they are also hard hit with this variant. So that's why government is keeping a track that those people who are getting infected with this variant, or those people who are not vaccinated till now, they needs to be vaccinated, so that the curves can be taken care of. And our INSA COG, which detects this variants, has already said this, that we in India is in a stage wherein we can call that we are in a stage of community transmission. This thing has not happened earlier. This is the first time that our agencies has said this outrageously that yes, we are in a community transmission stage wherein the cases are increasing like anything. Okay, so this we can skip. Okay, so now we'll discuss the editorial part. So the first editorial is a power shift in the making. So the Europe's geopolitics present Delhi with a challenge. It must not view region through East versus West binary. So basically, this news is talking about the international relations or the recent change in geopolitics or the statements which has been made by the former Germany Naval Chief Vice Admiral Mr. Skonbeck. Right. Recently, he was in Delhi and made some controversial remark over the ongoing dispute between Russia and Ukraine. Though these remarks they were quite understandable and they were basically common premises which has been derived by the vice admiral, but they were taken in such a way and these statements were made at the time when the dispute is already ongoing and there are problems, tensions already been going on between both these nations. So the timing of that particular conversation or the announcement which has been made by vice admiral has got hardened. So that's why uh, he had to resign. He has to present his resignation to the concerned minister in the German parliament. So all this has happened. So through this, the author is trying to say that uh, it poses a challenge on Delhi that through the rapid influence of China in the Indo-Pacific region and our increasing influence with respect to USA. But if I talk about the current situation in Europe, therein also the situation is not at ease. Therein also people are facing problems, especially the countries which are there. They are not having great relations, especially with respect to if you compare to the First World War situation or Second World War or the 1991 Cold War situation. This has been said by author. And herein the author has also emphasized on the fact that uh, Russia, the focus of Russia is not merely just to obtain the part of Ukraine, unlike what it did in Crimea region in the year 2014, but it tries to give or send a lesson to the West or the US per se or the NATO nations that it's not going to be easy for Russia for USA to induct countries like Ukraine and Georgia, which were earlier part of Soviet Union, under NATO, right? North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And herein the author has also talked about the importance or the influence, how the New Delhi or India should tackle this particular situation wherein the influence of China is rising, even USA, Russia, Germany, all these countries, they are the way they are growing and the ongoing dispute which is being going on. So how India is going to tackle this particular situation and how they are going to overcome these problems which are happening in the current regime, especially with respect to USA, UK, Europe, Russia, China, and Japan, all these nations. Then the second editorial, nurturing the recovery. An accommodative stance on public spending holds key to economic revival. So what is accommodative stance? Accommodative stance is basically maintaining the same status quo, right? So why this has been said? Herein MPC has been mentioned, that is Monetary Policy Committee by the author. So the author both the authors have started with the the recent estimates which has been made, the GDP estimates that is at 9.2%, which were earlier predicted at 9.5%. But because of this new third wave or this Omicron, because of this Omicron variant, uh, the GDP estimates have shrunk down by 30 basis points. So the author has said that it's high time that the central government they need to adopt a stance, because a proper stance, because earlier for the past 18 months we have seen that the Monetary Policy Committee, which has been headed by our RBI Governor Shri Shaktikanta Das ji, has followed the same path. Means the repo rate, reverse repo rate, all are the bank rate, all these rates are same. Why it was same? Because of the pandemic situation, and the government wants or the RBI wanted that there should be liquidity in the market. So if these rates are going to be low, then it would be easy for people to get loans or get access to funds. But now this poses a problem, because a lot of companies, a lot of people are going into debts, bad debts, and even NPAs as well. Even though banks are going in under bad debts as well, right? So this pressure, and even the Federal Reserve, the US system has already uh, indicated that they are going to change their stance, and even because of inflation and rise in wholesale price index and all these indices, they are hopeful that they are going to change their stance, and this might impact the pricing or the monetary policy committee's review of bank rate, repo rate, reverse repo rate in India itself. So now, according to the author, both the authors are of the opinion that investment in infrastructure should be our key driver, and we need to focus upon that, and we need to follow upon a stance which will eventually helps us in nurturing our recovery for a longer duration. Okay. Then the first opinion is the growing gap. Pandemic has widened economic inequities. Government intervention must be mindful of this challenge. So as this budget is upcoming, and so that's why in this particular opinion, the author is trying to say that the recent reports, whatever we have seen with respect to the World Inequality Report, or some of the report which has been released in India by Niti Aayog, and even in India itself, has revealed that for the past 2 years of the pre-pandemic situation or the current situation, if we compare, there has been a rapid rise in terms of disparity of income and wealth. So, according to the author, the this budget is upcoming, and wherein the, the ministry or the finance ministry has to take this particular thing into cognizance, and should make proper policies so that this redistribution of income and wealth should be done in a proper way. Because earlier also, this is the biggest challenge if we talk about the economic perspective, that there should be equal distribution of income and wealth in the country. But ever since we have seen this pandemic situation, the lowest 20% of people who earns in terms of income are hard hit. They have seen a rapid decrease in terms of their income by nearly 53%. The top 20% have seen a great increase in their overall income, or the vice versa thing has happened. So this needs to be worked upon, so that those people who are deprived of resources, or who are getting hard hit by the ongoing waves or the pandemic situation, can get recover, and can maintain themselves in a good and decent position which they were having before this pre-pandemic situation. Okay, then we'll study the second ideas page as well, that is engage with Myanmar. So nearly 1 year is getting completed. On 1st of February last year, we have seen that military had coup power in Myanmar, wherein the de facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi was detained, and of NLD party, and just before the elections, they had won with an outrageous majority. This thing we have seen in Myanmar. So herein, both the authors have emphasized on the fact that it's high time that India should get more so involved with Myanmar, the current situation which is happening in Myanmar, because the way the involvement of China has already been there, and we share a lot of boundaries. Our northeastern state shares boundaries with Myanmar. So we need to tackle this situation very wisely, because we are always been hopeful for democracy, and even at the earlier summits as well, we have raised concerns regarding the present situation in Myanmar. But still, we can't go against, or our country can't go against the military as well, because we share boundaries in the military, and the boundaries are or the borders are rescued or by the military itself. So we need to have good relations with them as well. earlier we used to maintain that when in the country democracy was there, and we are having good relations with the army and democracy as well in Myanmar. But ever since this regime has changed, the military had came in power in Myanmar. So India earlier, it's been long that India had not held a talk with Myanmar. But recently, though our Foreign Secretary Shri Harshvardhan Shringla, he had made a visit to Myanmar, and in the last week of December, and wherein he had given free vaccines to the Red Cross Society in Myanmar as well, and wherein he had talked about providing aid to Myanmar. But according to both the authors, this thing should be taken due consideration. Otherwise, the northeastern states, uh, which might face more problems in upcoming times, especially with respect to Assam, Manipur, or in the Ladakh region as well, wherein even Nagaland as well, when earlier also we have seen problems or a separatist faction from these from Myanmar region or the bordering states have came to India and trying to create a chaos. So all these things need to be sincerely taken care of, so that these problems or the recent change in regime in Myanmar can be dealt with great ease. Okay, that's all we can skip. Now the explain. The first explained is spread in the community. So this news we had already discussed that it has already been said by our authorities that in India we have reached to a situation wherein Omicron is in a community transmission, wherein it's spreading like anything. And earlier also, the variants which we have seen, we are trying to detect the source, that from which source this person has got infected, as I told you earlier in this newspaper analysis itself. But this is not the case with this variant, because so many people are getting infected in this particular situation, and it's getting quite difficult to detect. Earlier, mostly foreign travelers, international travelers, were the first one to get infected with this, and we were detecting it. Even today itself, we are keeping an eye on our airports, especially with respect to people coming from international airports. But now, as this stage is in a, or this variant is in a community transmission, so that will not provide much benefit if we keep that much track on airports. Rather, we should keep a track on if there should be not any new mutant or new variant which is there, unlike what we have seen recently in France. Though we are fortunate enough that we till now we have not seen any case of this new variant in India, but still, according to or as per the reports, this particular Omicron variant is not so deadly, but still it's highly transmissible. So that's why we need to take proper care of the same, and need to follow the proper COVID appropriate behavior, which is a must in the current pandemic situation. And the way people are getting infected, and even the recent data what we have seen with respect to Mumbai as well, wherein out of the total 280 cases which are sent to genome sequencing, 89% were from Omicron variant. So on a broader perspective, we need to think that are we seeing any new variant, new mutation, or and if this particular variant is getting infected, then those people who are not vaccinated, or those people who are not taken proper due care of, they should be, or strict action needs to be taken against those people. Okay, so now we'll move forward to the world section. So the first news on the world section is Ukraine crisis, West braces for Russian aggression, NATO sends jets, warships. So as the ongoing dispute is already been going on between Russia and Ukraine, so now NATO nations led by US had sent arms and ammunitions to the Ukraine, and even they have sent jets and warships as well, in order to tackle any situation, or any chaos which might incur, as troops have already been sent. Nearly more than 1 lakh troop had already been sent by Russia to its Ukraine border. So in order to tackle this situation, US and NATO have sent these jets and warships, and already the statement has been made by Russian side that this is not right on the part of US and NATO. What they are doing, this is not going to reduce the tension, but rather it will eventually increase the tension between both the states or both the countries. Okay. Then Omicron spread could end emergency phase of pandemic, said by WHO. So WHO has made this statement, or the director for WHO's European region, Dr. Hans Kluge, has made this statement that the way or the more and more people are getting infected with this Omicron variant, then if everything goes fine, then we would see that we would be by the end of this year would end this pandemic phase or this emergency phase of pandemic situation. And this has been echoed by Dr. Anthony Fauci as well, who is the US President's top medical advisor for this COVID situation. Then this is important. This might be encountered in the one-liner, the MCQ in our examination, that Aisha Malik, this is Aisha Malik, takes oath as Pakistan Supreme Court's first woman judge. Okay, so here we end the discussion of Indian Express. So now we'll move forward to the Hindu. Okay, so the first news on the Hindu dated 25th of January is Pakistan sends India a plea by Hindu body for air pilgrimage. So a member of parliament of Pakistan, Mr. Wankani, has proposed this thing and sent this a plea to our Ministry of External Affairs that they are seeking the approval from Ministry of External Affairs of India to send two charter planes or two flights from Islamabad and Karachi, or basically from Pakistan to India for a 4-day visit as the ongoing as to visit the cities like or cities to the pilgrimages, cities like Jaipur, Ajmer, Delhi, Agra, and Haridwar. Though no formal statement has been made by our Indian government, or no official statement has been made by Indian government till now with respect to this particular thing, but in order to tackle this particular situation or the relations which are already at its low between both the nations, and ever since this Article 370 and Article 35 has been abrogated from Jammu and Kashmir, the trade relations or the economic ties had also worsened up between both these nations, India and Pakistan. So now this is a move which has been initiated by a Pakistani legislator, so that not only from Pakistan but Indian pilgrims who want to visit Karachi and Lahore for the Hindu temples, they can also visit the same. Okay. So now we'll move forward to the editorial part. First editorial is tackling the Omicron wave, getting future ready. States can benefit from the use of the learning so far as India is more likely to mirror South Africa's trajectory. So as we are discussing Omicron on a daily basis, so it would be quite easy for you to get an idea about this particular editorial. So this particular editorial is talking about this new variant Omicron, which has seen cases in more than 170 countries, 171 countries to be precise. It has already been written in the passage editorial itself. And it has been said that this is highly transmissible if we compare it to the Delta variant or the other situation. But those countries which hasn't seen much vaccine hesitancy, and in terms of vaccination, those countries have done good, especially if you compare with the current situation with India. That those people who are getting positive with this new variant Omicron, and if they are vaccinated, then they are again getting back on work, back on track in nearly 3 to 4 days. This is only the time frame. Unlike what we have seen the Delta variant, wherein there was huge oxygen crisis and wherein vaccination was also not there. So that's why the government or the states, respective states, should learn lessons from from the different lessons that they have learned from alpha, beta, or these delta variants, and even this Omicron variant as well. And even it's been 2 months that we have seen this Omicron variant, but still the country in which at which it is first detected, that is in South Africa, even they have not put it in bars because they have already seen even fourth wave of this COVID-19 pandemic, and they have already initiated a booster dose in their country itself, but they have not imposed much restrictions, or they have not imposed much lockdowns and all these things, because that was already being opposed by a majority of the population. So now in India itself, we are seeing daily caseload of nearly more than 2 lakh, 2.5 lakh on a daily basis cases on a daily basis, and with a positivity rate of 15 to 20%. So now in India itself, we need to pay proper due attention to this current situation and learn from the lessons which are there, so that will be able to tackle this current situation. So herein the author has talked about ramping up of vaccination, ramping up of testing, and finding out the origin from where these variants are detected, and if any new variant is there, and if any person is getting infected with a new variant, or how deadly is getting, or more and more data should be collected. So herein the author has both the authors have tried to focus upon data, and try to take more and more research, so that we'll be able or we'll be in a comfortable position in order to tackle this ongoing pandemic situation. Then the first opinion, that is in conjunction, individual obligation is meaningful only when rights are guaranteed by the state. So this is basically about the recent development, or the recent speech which has been made by Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi when he was inaugurating this hologram-based statue of late Netaji Sri Subhash Chandra Bose ji at New Delhi, wherein he has talked about that there are a lot of heroes, unsung heroes, whose work has not been reflected by these previous governments. So on that similar note, this whole opinion has been written, and he has talked about all these developments which has been done by this current government. They're not mild for all. India has admitted community transmission in the belief Omicron is mild. This is also self-explanatory. We have already mentioned this and explained even in the first editorial as well, that we are in a situation of community transmission with respect to this Omicron variant. Then High Court rejects petition on Bengal taboo. So as the taboo of Bengal and Tamil Nadu, all the states have not been included in the Republic Day celebration, upcoming Republic Day celebration on 26th of January. So the government, High Court, had filed a plea in the Calcutta High Court, and the Calcutta High Court had rejected the petition which has been filed by the West Bengal government, seeking that it is central government decision, and a separate agency has already been formed, and they have made this decision, and nothing political has been involved in this particular scenario. Okay. Then India's total case tally reaches 3.95 crore, and we are seeing a daily caseload of nearly 2,34,650 to be precise, that has been written, and the positivity rate is also increasing. The states with highest number of cases are Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Kerala, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. All these states are seeing a rapid surge, and even states like Andhra Pradesh is seeing a positivity rate of nearly 36%. Yes. Then rumblings in AI as Tata's assigned grooming supervisors. So this news we'd already discussed on the first page of Indian Express, that this investment process has already been initiated in the month of October itself, and the procedural the paperwork has been going on, and the balance sheets and all has been sent it by Air India to Tata, and Tata's will take nearly 2 days time to scrutinize. On 27th of January, this whole process will most probably get closed. Then, amid Ukraine crisis, NATO sends planes, ships to Eastern Europe. So, as this tussle is already been going on, so in order to to save or in order to safeguard the interest of Ukraine, NATO nations have been sending their planes and ships to the Eastern Europe side, wherein the troops of the troops of Russian army has already been deployed at the border state. So that's why, in order to support the Ukraine in this ongoing dispute, the NATO nations are helping them in this current situation. Then China sends 52 aircraft towards Taiwan zone. So recently we have seen a dispute or the bordering disputes with China. China is having bordering disputes with a lot of nations. It is their mindset to acquire territory of each and every nation, including India as well. But that is not the case, which is going to happen. So recently they are having disputes with respect to China-Taiwan relations, or even China-Hong Kong relations, which we have discussed. Which we have seen that there was huge protest in the country itself, means in the Hong Kong and Taiwan. So again, what China has done, they have sent nearly 52 aircraft towards Taiwan zone in order to show their strength. And GA-17, AJ-16 has fighter jet has been prepared, as you can see in the photograph as well. And there is always been tussle been going on, and already we have seen that the president of US and the president of China had met and had a discussion with respect to this ongoing dispute between China and Taiwan. But China has made this thing clear that we are not there to acquire any sort of territory of anything, and these obligations are false. Then Taliban hail Oslo meet as success. So in order to get aid and its blocked funds from US and other nations, Taliban is holding a 3-day talks in Oslo in Norway. So the talks are going on, and Taliban has said that, or the spokesperson has made the statement that they're hailing that this particular meet will be a success, and which will eventually help them in seeking more and more funds, so that the path of development they can work upon, so that uh, so that things get smoother in their country, which will eventually help them in development work. So here we end the discussion of both the newspapers. That's all from my side. Thanks for watching.